So on behalf of the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and along with a number of my colleagues, Assistant Attorney General Carol Mason, the Director of the Bureau of Prisons, Charles Samuels, and so many others from our federal family, I welcome you to this very important and timely event, Safe Alternatives to Solitary Confinement, a Human Dignity Approach. The recognition of the critical importance of safe alternatives to solitary confinement start at the very top of the administration, in this case with President Obama, as you heard Nick say. Many of you have heard or read his landmark speech on criminal justice reform to the NAACP in July. But I think his words about solitary confinement have special meaning for us and deserve repeating today. In noting that the social science research shows that solitary confinement is often more likely to make inmates more alienated, more hostile, and potentially more violent, President Obama asked, and I quote, "Do we really think it makes sense to lock so many people alone in tiny cells for 23 hours a day, sometimes for months or even years? That's not going to make us safer," the president said. "That's not going to make us stronger. And if those individuals are ultimately released, how are they ever going to adapt? It's not smart." We share the president's deep concern about these issues, and we at BJA are proud to be supporting the Vera Institute of Justice's partnership with state and local corrections agencies through the Safe Alternatives Segregation Initiative as they take a hard look at their restrictive housing practices and seek smarter solutions that embrace a human dignity approach. We applaud the 6 agencies working with Vera and BJA on this initiative: Bernalillo County, New Mexico's Detention Center, the North Carolina Department of Public Safety, the Nebraska Department of Corrections, the New York City Department of Corrections, Middlesex County, New Jersey's Office of Adult Corrections and Youth Services, and the Oregon Department of Corrections for stepping forward and embarking on this journey of change. They are analyzing data and asking questions like, who is in segregated housing and why were they placed there? How long are people staying in segregated housing? What are the procedures for reviewing their status? What treatment, programming, and other activities are available for persons in administrative segregation, in disciplinary segregation, in protective custody? And what are the living and working conditions like? How are staff who work in segregated units selected, trained, and supported to be successful in their work? What is the plan for transitioning people back into the general population, both behind and outside the walls? These are not simple questions to answer, and Vera and the 6 sites will be working together closely on collecting, analyzing, and interpreting complex data in all of these areas and more. Armed with that information, the correction agency partners from the Safe Alternatives to Segregation sites will then devise and implement strategies to safely reduce their reliance on segregation. They will be assisted in their efforts by an esteemed advisory council, a phenomenal group, as we saw yesterday when they first came together with the sites, comprised of corrections leaders that you'll hear from today that have successfully reduced use of solitary confinement and restrictive housing in their own facilities, and by leading researchers, health and mental health experts, and advocates who are lending their expertise to help the work that is going on in these sites. It's very exciting. You will hear from many of them throughout this morning, and I can't thank them enough for their wisdom and for their support. I am so energized by the brain trust gathered here today and by the dedication on the part of so many leaders to take on this difficult issue with determination to reduce use of unnecessary segregation and restrictive housing overall, and to develop meaningful, effective, and safe alternatives. So thank you so much for letting us be part of this effort.